Shake Guevara. Shake.
Maybe your mother never told you.
That's really worth living. There's a game called life that's really worth living.
Because she's more natural than ever. Because she's more natural than ever.
This is the centre of Britain's electronic retail industry, of which the video recorder is one of the best products that was ever introduced. Only introduced 6 or 7 years ago, now at least a third of Britain's homes have one. Fairly primitive to begin with, but now you can get a recorder which has hi-fi sound stereo, of course, a 26-function infrared remote control, fluorescent multifunction display, one-touch timer recorder with standby, peak hold audio level. It goes on. The recorder has changed, even in that short time, our entertainment patterns. We buy less records because of it, we go to the movies less often. It's caused the whole problem of piracy of television, and it's caused a moral panic requiring an act of parliament about what we actually watch in the home. But when people got it home, they discovered that it was more than a playback machine, it was a play with machine.
Stop. Turn off your video recorder. Take the tape out and do not record this program. This program is copyright, and if you record it, it's illegal. It's illegal to tape record any TV program unless you've got a license to do so. That means that no matter how much money you've given to the multinational corporation that produces your video recorder, you still haven't given enough money to the other multinational corporations that are responsible for what's going out as television programs or films. They want some money from you too, and unless they get their share of the pie, they are not going to let you legally get away with recording their programs.
Well, portable video really arrived in 1969 with a little black and white portable, which was about this big and weighed about 15 pounds. It was lovely because it was a medium with instant feedback, and you could actually work in the camera, edit, and you could see what you were doing immediately. There was nothing like that at all except for Polaroid pictures. We of course thought that it would change society, but the the politicians and the multinationals are still there.
The people who first started working with video in this country as an art form were using the medium very much in an explorative kind of way. They were very much interested in how this equipment worked. It was a new thing. They usually had a black and white porta-pack, a monitor and a camera. They were interested in the relationship between all those things. There was a lot of tapes were dealing with the way that you can instantly play back, the fact that you've got a monitor, which is a box within which things happen, the fact that the audience can participate with immediately seeing themselves on the television as they walk past a camera. There are monitors talking to each other, for example, talking heads talking to each other. All those kind of sculptural, but also electronic experiments with what this medium could do.
Video art alters some of the terms under which you can expect the frame that follows to have a clean, clear, sensible, common sense relation with the frame that went before and the frame that's going to follow after. It means that there's always that sense of risk and experiment and danger about it. There's something potentially novel at every turn. That means that people can then expand out from just the simple frame.
Well, I was working on a number of pieces that were all to do with logic. I was really trying to take a big hammer to logic and deal with how I could actually break it down. And I got very interested in the idea of bell ringing. There is a kind of school of bell ringing on the continent where they have the normal kind of bells we do here, but they play tunes with them, actually make music with them. Whereas in England, the normal way of doing this is just to make a series of mathematical changes for a certain number of bells, which is called an extent, and which seems to me very British characteristic, to take something that is essentially musical and reduce it to mathematics. I'm corpsing. I'm corpsing. You got enough.
I'm corpsing. I'm corpsing. I'm corpsing.
One of the areas which artists have become involved with relatively recently in this country is the making of music videos, which they aren't pop promos. They're not being made to sell something. It's just linking images and music into short works.
We live in a world where there's so much, sort of, say, music video, if you like, things like that. It's bound to influence sort of younger people who make video. And the idea really is to kind of take elements of that kind of watching, but in fact make something that's a different form.
What's interesting, and I think is shown by some of the tapes in the programme, are other ways of exploring the elements of sound and image, which basically video is made up of.
Like one that on a lonesome road doth walk in fear and dread, and having once turned round walks on, and turns no more his head, because he knows a frightful fiend does close behind him tread. Beatnik. Sputnik, Beatnik, Telstar, thumbing lifts, taking trips in plastic living rooms.
Outer space, pencil thin, take a groove, bend the hips, drop down, drop out, protest.
Cold War, black and white, out of sight. Don't be a square, you've never had it so good. We've never had it so good. Good morning, it's another lovely day. Wet or fine, you'll have a lovely time on your Butlins holiday. You're on table 22, and you can thank your lucky stars. And every Thursday at 8, they have a thunderstorm in the Hawaiian bar.
Cold War, black and white, out of sight. Don't be a square, you've never had it so good. We've never had it so good. Sister in the living room on an RAF officer's lap. Sisters in the kitchen stroking a crew cut of her black leathered Bonneville bike boy, 650cc. Sister in the hallway on tiptoes necking with her silver-suited, red-faced, sideburns teddy boy. She's dressed in green, she's pregnant, and her name's Christine.
Cold War, black and white, out of sight. Don't be a square, you've never had it so good. We've never had it so good. Stylish dances, twisted romances in L-shaped living rooms. Cool cat jive, espresso bongo. I was a teenage werewolf, and then it snowed. Cold War, black and white, out of sight. Don't be a square, you've never had it so good. We've never had it so good. Beatnik, wah, wah.
I think the question that video is posing is whether television is in itself an art form, or whether it's simply a conveyor of other forms, simply a means of communication. I mean, the roots of television, basically, if you look at the early BBC programmes, it was radio, it was visual radio. It used the forms that were existing at the time in terms of radio. It's developed and adapted other forms, music hall in terms of light entertainment and quiz shows, melodrama and Hollywood narrative filmmaking, and all the TV series and so on. And it's very rooted in storytelling and naturalistic settings, realism. But it never really comments on itself.
Well, I think one of the main things about my work is that I can't really use stills in it, if you like. I mean, most of it is about movement. It's about disrespecting a static square, you know, a TV screen, and actually making it appear to be moving around within that. And that's why I use a lot of graphic wipes and things like that to actually, you know, disrespect the rectangle.
I mean, most people basically, I mean, television is like the death of people's imagination. It like kills off any creative thought, visualization, the lot. People just sit there glued to the box night after night and let somebody else do all the thinking for them. I mean, this is the one thing about video art, is that actually it's open-ended. I mean, you need a reaction between the artist and the viewer. Albeit, I mean, most artists are a bit presumptuous and they think, bugger the viewer, you know, I'm an artist, I'm going to teach them, I'm going to make a statement, okay. The best video art is two-way, and it really does go backwards and forwards, and I think television, like domestic sets, is the perfect opportunity. You bore the asses off a lot of people, but there's just that one time when they'll say, my God, that's amazing, and I think that's important.
Specializes in dark
plastic man. Just to get over anywhere he can. That won't bring that's what he's not. Agrees with everything he knows nothing about, so he doesn't feel left out. Secondary to all things in life you really want. Feeling is his thing, so he's got to keep us strong. And he say, yeah, and to the conversation. And he say, yeah. But he always follows at the end. He says, you know me, man, I'm a key, let me in. He's a self-preservationist, yes he is. Let me hear you say yeah, and a super conversationalist, yes he is. Yeah. Well, he always goes, never ends. He says, you know me, man, I'm with him, let me in. You know he doesn't remember anything. Playing a game called backstabbing. You better stop your fantasizing and start to realizing. 'Cause black is black and white is white. Wrong is wrong and right is right. Plastic man, try to get over anywhere you can. Plastic man, try to get over anywhere you can. Plastic man.
Most people, if they think about experimental video, will immediately think of pop videos. The problem there is that because the pop video is controlled by very conservative marketing managers in record companies who are basically concerned to get the promo on music cable in the States, the form of pop video has become very, very predictable indeed. I mean, it's now virtually parodying itself. The video makers that I see around in galleries and so on are exploring the elements of television, sound and image in far more interesting ways than that.
Everything that I learned as a video maker, you know, as a video artist, what have you, eventually did cross over into the promos, and I've practically managed to get all the little techniques, all the little experimental stuff that I managed to find out about while I was making videos, I've used. And you do it all on 35 minutes, it's the same, it's just like in here, it's just the sensitivity, the approach. And it's quite difficult to sort of go up to some big mega record producer and say, oh, what you want to do is like aim a camera at TV, so it all goes all wobbly, and it's like an amazing effect, and it's really fab, and it's all experimental. And then the worst thing you can ever say is, the worst word you can ever use in commercial filmmaking is art, and that really scares them, okay? That really frightens them to death. They hate it, you know. A lot of them can't even spell it, let alone, I mean, understand what it means.
Maybe I'll try something else. Let me just try photograph. Oh, that's good. Press button B. A few more wrinkles here. The wall.
I'm looking at the monitor now. Very Berlin, isn't it? People looking up is always fascist.
What's most political spot? The wall.
Very Berlin, isn't it?
Sexual one's better.
Let's hum a little tune.
What's most political spot? The wall.
What are you trying to get?
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Red, all sorts of reds. I like a lot.
Like that. Does it work? Like that. Does it work? Like that. Does it work? Like that. Does it work?
Turn around and look at the person.
Like that.
Does it work? Like that? Does it work? There's nothing I don't like about girls, really. I just wouldn't want to be one. I wouldn't say on TV. It's rude. Well, nani. They're not on camera. Well, nani. Definitely. I wouldn't say on TV. It's rude. Come on. More. I good with the sunglasses because I can look in the monitor without anyone noticing. Like a sort of sexual one's better. No. Banana. Banani.
Here's a picture of my mother, whom I love so well. Like that. I didn't bring any modeling photos because this is what I wanted to show you. I put it here, maybe you can see. The hair is violet. Good shading. I wish you could see it. Favorite postcard or two. Jackie O after the death and during the funeral of her beloved. Let's see. Buster Keaton, my hero. I have two fillings here that you can see that there are spaces in there. The subway's here. When you take the subway, it's I don't know, but after a day, if you've gone twice, going, coming, you come home and you blow your nose, it is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. It's black. It's charming, utter charm. Natch. And he said, well, can't you read? And I said, well, actually, I didn't. It's not a good story. I'm not even going to finish it. These are not real clip-on earrings. They are clip-on earrings, real clip-on earrings. Ha. I don't usually wear brown, but I'm wearing brown, so how's that? And that's me with an Italian painter named Francesco Clemente. I'm wearing a Graffiti Boys sweatshirt. He painted it for me. I used to be his secretary. One thing you guys miss out on is painting faces. I kind of feel sorry for you. It's a woman blowing a fart. There, musically, of course, as only women can. Also smells a lot better than your average male fart. Some of those assholes do it, but they don't do it right, number one. They all look like raving queens. If you can remember to light a match and place it there, it does light up. It does ignite. It's kind of nice that you guys don't. You know, I mean, it's something that we have. You don't have.
TV fun. Let's have some TV fun. I never painted it, but I'm going to sign it anyway. There's not enough time and not enough money to do what I want. I don't like feminists, but I have no real desire to go to the East, being very bigoted. 3D TV. Without a doubt. Oh yes, the weather report. Today's signals are. I'm not going to make a fool of myself. I'm desperately not going to make a fool of myself. I'd like to swim in the sea now, right now. I'd like to be goofing around underneath the oceans. Jane, who has always been aroused and impressed by Ruth's fair white skin. Poverty is perhaps the worst disease. I want money. So any of you benevolent patrons out there, please, don't worry, something will happen in a moment. And I don't see why I should say anything that's going to give you any TV man ideas, Mr. TV man. And my favorite people are... Drinking a bottle of vodka is quite good fun. I suggest it to anyone. I mean, I think burying my head in the spaghetti was good fun. I'm now going to time how long it takes for me to find patronage in the arts. To ward off Antony, they would play the record player very loudly. There we go, folks.
Television operates what Freud calls an economy of desire. It makes you defer your gratification, put it off for a little bit so that you can catch the next image. Video artists will also work with that. They'll keep you straining to see what will happen next, and sometimes they'll play these games with you. The expectations that we have of a story are that somehow it'll be resolved, that we'll have the comfort at the end of it. A video artist may not let you get that comfort. He or she could throw in things that you're not expecting, absurd things, jokes, images that don't fit at all, images that aren't quite images, that are textures and shapes and forms, that have a flow, but not a flow that necessarily matches that very sculpted economic desire that the TV in general produces. Video can produce an alternative economy of desire.
However far you may travel,
there is no escape from
fingered pages,
books that please,
Mills and Boon,
Harlequin,
true life, romance. He looked like Adonis, ancient Greek perfection of form.
She reminded him of Psyche from a picture by Lord Leighton.
He had an arresting face.
From a country where beauty is commonplace.
She had charming, rosy tinted flesh.
With beautiful modelling of head and of neck.
He had a magnetic gaze.
A proudly held head.
Even white teeth and a devastating smile.
She had thin, sensitive skin.
And had never been kissed.
It was a true life romance.
He was a dangerous man and a dangerous object.
She was thin, though she had a good appetite.
He was a man and an experienced one at that.
With arms like clamps.
And an expensive tailor.
She was at the turning point in her life.
A modern girl.
A modern girl.
He was a red-blooded male.
Irresistible.
Irresistible.
It was a true life romance.
True life romance.
He had that indefinable attribute called style.
The force and power of his personality filled the room.
She was healthy and cheerful.
And longed to be loved by a man.
He was like a marble statue come to life.
And she needed a knight in shining armor. true life romance.
Brilliant colours suffused her face.
Always attracting male glances.
She felt the whisper of his kiss upon her shoulder.
Her body was singing.
She felt the tip of his tongue, and the need for him mounted.
His fingers caressed the swollen contours of her throat.
The fire in his eyes became an inferno.
His lips claimed her.
As though he was starved for the touch of a woman.
It was a true life romance.
True life romance.
She should have known that he would live in a penthouse.
And that he preferred his women to be experienced.
She felt shivers of ecstasy.
Joy without shame.
It was heaven.
It was paradise.
It was a true life romance.
I'd say to someone who is seeing this kind of work for the first time that they should just look at it, not expect it to concur with any preconceptions they might have of what they're going to see on television, and allow themselves to respond to it. I worked on the tape IOD for quite a period of time, approximately 2 years, during which time the images were reworked several times, till eventually I arrived at a level of abstraction that suited what I wanted to say in the work, which was to express something about the way that meaning disappears when we become overloaded with the images of consumer culture.
19 hours Greenwich Mean Time, and here is the news from the Voice of America.
Highly atmospheric stuff.
I'm Stephanie Mann in
Mine is an
Washington.
extensive farm. When I'm
Voter
relying upon
turnout
natural
in South Africa's elections for a mixed-race House of Parliament appears to be running below the
in fact, I'm against it. I am against
The voting has been marred by the arrest of dozens of demonstrators who are
But is there anybody else that you're aware of in Britain anyway that's trying to do your work?
I must admit, no, I haven't seen any like this. I haven't seen any.
Do you have any expectations of converting anybody to your way of doing it?
I'm sure when they see the results,
How will they see the results?
well, unfortunately, it has to be by campaign materials. So if you look at the input, talking financial details, if you look at the input,
I think from the Renaissance, probably. This Renaissance painting, where painting and the perspective in it allows the viewer to feel like God, to be someone who perceives the universe.
To say to people, the money that you spend on actually skiing, which is your lift pass, ski school, the things that actually you go skiing for, that is not a risk, because if you don't like it after 2 days, you're nervous, you just can't take to it, you're left-footed, both feet, or whatever. We'll give you £50 back. And we tried this out as a pilot.
The reality that we see,
we did it in 4 resorts.
and the reality that we were supposed to live. In the Renaissance, probably it was still possible to see the difference of the reality, the image, and
as without talking about
I'd just like to make sure I'm in the team this Saturday. Any particular position in your back door? And hopefully the Red 4 seats of lower tier West End. Too many people go for the first time, not look after them properly, not encouraged. So we put in all of effort to make sure of your tickets. We'll put our money where our mouth is. £50 back if you don't like it. So we're taking the risk.
That's the reality.
You mentioned Mount skiing there, which and I don't want to contest. I've never skied before, but there's something appealing about that really. Let's look for that couple of skiing holidays, presumably some of them get married, some of them have kids, and now you're offering a creche facility. I mean, that's better than
no, in fact, I don't think. I think, well, it's difficult to say, but I think the majority of
putting all simple people together and landing up being a marriage
perceive it as reality.
We might sell too many holidays that way.
Because it's not reality. There is no way you can
I'm told that their computer system allows for the reservation of books, a feature that we have here. The software for the computer was written by Theo van der Hout, who is head of the computer department of the Netherlands Library for the Blind. The Danish State Library has recently successfully installed the same system in their library in Copenhagen, and one of the South African delegates.
70-year-old Sir Joseph, who was chairman of the Cherry Vale Club, which exports ducks to 86 countries, is said to be all right in the rest of his home. Mr. Waddell had to be taken to a nearby...
What about the DJ in the front? I hope he doesn't take my parking space. I hope I get to use Michael Anson's parking space. I wonder what he's like. I wonder what she's like. David Head Jensen meets Graham Higgins every weekday morning at 9 on September the 3rd here on Capital.
Tuesday time off, seeing the world makes a pleasure. And Katie joins us on the phone. Katie, good evening.
Hello, Katie.
Katie, hello.
I wonder if you could give me some information about her passion.
Taking over, Katie.
Everybody keeps saying I've been taking over. It's grown to about 7 foot high. And now I've got 9 flowers.
Lovely.
7 patterns. And I don't know...